Good afternoon, it's Kimberly, and today we're going to do a standing and seated chair practice. So you can start just by making yourself comfortable, standing on your mat or on your floor. You can see that I've got a chair set up on either end of my yoga mat right now. I'll mostly just use one, and you only need one. The second one is there so that I can demonstrate side to side without turning my back to you. So we're going to start making ourselves comfortable, rolling our shoulders down and back. Just taking a moment, maybe with the eyes closed, to notice how is your body feeling today. Noticing any sensations, and those could be sensations of warm or cold, could be sensations of hunger, of soreness, of energy. So just noticing in your own body what's going on. And bringing your awareness to your breath. Noticing on each inhale the way your whole body lifts up and expands out. And noticing on each exhale how everything settles back down. Let's try a few more breaths like that. Nice, slow, easy breaths, just noticing. Noticing too that the mind wanders, because of course it does, and it's going to continue to do that throughout our practice today. So just notice and then come back to the next breath. You could, for our last breath here, if you want, try putting one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly, taking a nice slow deep breath in, feeling everything expand. And then exhaling. Good, so you can bring your hands out to your side and just wiggle your body out a little bit. Turn a little from side to side, maybe bend the knees softly. Just notice what's going on. How does everything feel in my body today? And we're going to warm things up a little bit by twisting from side to side. And so you can make these really small, subtle movements. You can make these really big movements, swinging your arms around. So just checking with your body, which of those movements feels better for you, a little smaller, a little bigger. You can also change your stance to play with this. Shift the weight from one foot to another. Good. One more in and out breath. And then we'll bring our feet back to about hip distance apart. And we're going to play around with moving our arms with breath. So on an inhale, let's reach the hands all the way up. As you exhale, turn the palms out and take the hands back down to your side. Good. Inhale, reach the hands up, palm up. Maybe it feels good to bring your hands all the way to touch. Maybe they don't quite make it there today. Exhaling, turning the hands out, bringing them down. Good. If you want to add a little bit of movement into your knees, bending the knees, inhaling to reach up. As you exhale, bending the knees, taking the hands down. Inhale, up. And exhale, down. Okay, one more time, we're going to inhale all the way up. This time, let's grab onto our left wrist and exhale over to the right. And this could be a little baby lean. It could be a really big lean. Or you could use your chair if you want. Hang on to it with your right hand and really lean quite far into that. So take a couple of breaths here in whatever version of this pose you've chosen for yourself. Noticing the way that the left side body expands and contracts on each breath. And on your next inhale, we'll come all the way back up. And then we'll exhale over to the other side. So again, you have the option of holding onto the right wrist, a little baby lean, a really deep lean, maybe leaning over, reaching onto your chair, pressing the right hip out. 3 full breaths here. Good, we'll inhale, reach all the way up. Let's reach both of our hands up now and just rotate your palms forward and back a couple of times. And notice that as you rotate the palms forward and back, probably your arms all the way up to your shoulders are moving too. So we can play with this a little bit. We can bend our elbows. We can bring the palms in, elbows together. Exhale, elbows apart. Inhale and exhale. But you can also just stay and play with that rotation up high. You might notice that even though these movements start out simple, your shoulders may get quite tired quite quickly. Just a couple more. Good, let's relax the shoulders, roll the shoulders down and back a couple of times. From here, let's take a wide stance on our mat. And wide is whatever is wide and comfortable for you. So you could be wider than me, you could be narrower. And we're just gonna play with bending one knee and then the other. And you can have your hands on your hips for this. You can have your hands on your legs. And of course, your movement might look quite different than mine. You could be holding onto your chair and rocking from side to side. You could also do that facing your chair if you want to be a little bit more stable. Some of you, depending on the mobility in your hips and knees, might want to go a little bit lower, maybe reaching from one side to the other, maybe touching the ground. So side to side, nice easy movements. Good. Couple more breaths. And one more side to side there. Good. Coming up nice and tall here now. Let's rotate our right toes to the top of our mat. And your left toes can turn in just a little bit. We're going to take our hands to our hips. We're just gently going to slide the right knee forward as far as it feels okay. And then we're going to slide it back. This is a place too where you can hold on to your chair for a little bit of stability. Might let you go a little bit more deeply. So just bending and straightening. And depending on your body, your feet might be much closer together or they might be much farther apart. So find the thing that works for you. And then let's see if we can strengthen. So bend the right knee to wherever it feels okay. And then either with your hand on the chair, your hands on your hips, or maybe both hands out to either side, see what it feels like to maintain this shape for a few breaths. Sometimes I like to take the gaze over the right fingertips. Check to see that my head is stacked over my shoulders are stacked over my hips. Noticing that it's getting a little bit warm, maybe in this front leg. Good. Inhale and exhale one more time. And then we can straighten out the front leg. Now with the front leg straight, we're going to come into a similar shape, into triangle. So I'm going to lift up my left hip, I'm going to hinge forward a little bit, and I might just keep my hands on my hips. I might take my hand to my chair. Like before, you've got lots of choices. You can come much lower down, putting your hand in a different place in the chair. You can widen the stance or make it narrower. So find the thing that feels good for you. And for some people, it might feel nice to extend the left arm overhead. For some people, it might feel nice to extend the left arm straight up. Or some people might like to move their arm in big circles. So choose something for you and then spend 3 full breaths there. Good, let's pull ourselves all the way back up and take our hands down to our hips. You can rotate the right toes forward. We're gonna switch sides. So if you're using a chair, you can just step your feet around if your chair is just on one side. If you're like me, you've got a chair on both sides, you can just rotate the left toes forward. So hands on our hips, gentle little bend and straighten. So we're just noticing what mobility is there in our hips. If we feel like this is way too big of a stance, we take our feet closer together, little bend. If it feels like not enough, we make our stance really wide. And then we're going to find that place that felt best for us, and we're going to pause there. We're going to choose a spot for our hands, maybe on our hips, maybe one hand on the chair, maybe both hands out. If it feels okay, you're going to turn to look over the left hand. Take a few easy in and out breaths. Feel your whole torso lift on each inhale. Feel it settle on each exhale. Okay, we'll bring our hands down to our hips. We're going to straighten the front leg, lift the right hip a little bit, and you can pause right here. If this feels like too much work already, you can always softly bend the knee. You can take the feet a little bit closer together. We've also got the option of holding onto our chair, or maybe lowering down on our chair, and we choose a position for our arms. Could be straight up, could be overhead, could be in big wide circles. So 3 breaths, wherever this feels good for you. Good, and then use your next inhale to come all the way up. We'll take our hands back down to our hips, and then we'll heel toe our feet closer together. Take our feet together and just give everything a little shake out. We're gonna come to face our chair now. And we're gonna walk away from the chair so you're about halfway back on your mat, though the distance that you are is gonna depend on the height of your chair and things that are going on in your hips and hamstrings. And so we're just gonna lean forward and take our hands to our chair. And for some of us, this is gonna be enough. Your hamstrings are firing up and they're saying thank you. You can stop right there. Some of you might wanna lower a little bit further. So you're just gonna keep playing around. You might need to play with the stance of your legs. You can go a little wider, you can go a little further back. For some people, it'll feel really nice through their chest and arms to let their head hang down between their arms. If that feels like too much, just come up a little bit more. And wherever you are, just think about adding a little lift through your sits bones and your tailbone, and notice how your hamstrings fire up really quickly when you do that. Let's take a few slow, easy breaths here, letting your nervous system know that even though this may be a deep stretch for your hamstrings, you're not going to take it too far. Good. On your next inhale, we're going to come all the way back up. And you can just stand right in front of your chair, shake things out again. All right, so you can or cannot use the chair for this next one. So either with your hands on the chair or your hands on your hips, you're going to step the left leg back, just about a moderate step back behind you. And our hips are going to be square to the short edge of our mats here, and they're going to be facing the chair. And we're going to keep both our legs straight, and we're going to hinge forward. And again, you can take your hands to your chair, up high or down low. You can also, if maybe your body wants to go further, not use your chair at all and take your hands to the ground. You can see that my hands do not go to the ground. So for me in this shape, I might put my hands on my shin. I might normally use a yoga block, but because I've got a chair, that's what I'm going to use today. Think about pulling your right hip back and your left hip forward, keeping the spine nice and long, and taking 3 full in and out breaths. Okay, we'll slowly come back up. And then from here, keeping the hips exactly as they are, can you bend the right knee forward, but keep the left heel glued down to your mat? And it might feel good to come up nice and high, shoulders over top of hips. You might get a little bit more of a stretch in your left side here and your left calf. It might feel better to be leaning forward. So find the place that works for you. Some of you might even want to play with lifting your hands up or taking them to heart center. Find the place, and then again, 3 in and out breaths. So that heavy focus on the breath, which is really the difference between exercise and yoga, because yoga means union. It's a coming together of mind and body. Good, let's step our feet back together. Give everything a little wiggle. And then we're going to step the right leg back. Same thing, moderate step back with the right leg. Our hips are about square to the top of our mat. Our right heel is down, and you can stay right here. It might feel nice to lean forward a little. It might feel nice to lean forward a lot. Your hands could be on your chair, on the seat of your chair, down on the ground. Mine will not be down on the ground today. And the tendency here will be for your left hip to start floating out to the side, so just gently draw the left hip back. And then let's check in with those slow, deep breaths again. Okay, come on, back up. We're going to bend the left knee forward. We're going to keep the right heel down on the ground. The tendency will be for it to want to lift. Let's see if we can keep it down there. And you can choose hands on your hips, hands at heart center, maybe hands on your chair, maybe hands up, and take 3 full breaths here. Think about pulling the left hip back, right hip forward. Good, one more. And we'll step our feet back together here. Now we'll play with a little bit of standing mobility before we come to seated. So you can do this with your chair for support. You can also, if you really want to play with your balance, do it without the chair at all. So it's going to depend on your body. And it could look as simple as just rolling your ankle in circles, and you'll feel your hip all the way at the top of your leg moving in circles too. You could, if you want, lift the leg up and move it in circles. And you could do that without holding on to anything if you want. So you're going to choose for you what works, and then try the other direction. You choose maybe little tiny circles, really big circles. As long as you're not experiencing any pain in your hips, you're moving in the right direction, in the right way. Just see how many different places can you bring that leg. Okay, can you do that with a straight leg a little bit too? Okay, let's go ahead and we'll switch sides. So maybe just little ankle circles, and you can feel that moving at the top of your hip. Maybe a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit bigger than that. moving in both directions. There's no right or wrong way to move here. You're just exploring the range of motion available in your hips. Maybe with a straight leg again, just like we did on the other side. Good, and then settling back down. Again, one more to play with our balance. We'll try coming into our tree pose. So we're just gonna think about turning the left knee out, and you can keep the left toes on the ground, hands on your hips. You can have your hand on your chair. You can have both hands on your hips. And that might be enough for you today. Maybe today you're feeling really stable on your standing leg. You're gonna engage the core, engage the glutes. Maybe you lift the left foot up just a tiny little bit, place it on the inside of your right leg. And from there too, you've got that option. You can still, once you pull the leg up higher, if you lose your balance a little, use the chair. You can also play around with lifting one arm up. You could play around with lifting both arms up. Most fun to play with when you're feeling stable is closing your eyes, which is bound to make you wobble and fall. So you can do that even just with your hand on your chair. Play around and see what's available. And we'll inhale and exhale. We'll try the other side. Rotate the right leg out, and maybe just there, toes on the ground, hand on your chair, other hand on your hip. Or like before, maybe drawing the leg up a little bit higher, maybe playing around with one arm up, maybe both hands coming to heart center, maybe both hands up. Maybe if you're flirting with disaster today, closing the eyes just to see what's there. Good, inhale and exhale. Okay, so from here we're going to come to seated in our chair now. So I'll just put mine here. And we're going to come to sit right on the edge of our chair. I'll give you a moment to get comfortable there. So you can see I'm right at the edge. I'm not sitting all the way at the back of my chair, and that's just to give me a little bit more room. We're going to take our hands to our knees, and on an inhale, I'm going to draw the chest forward, the shoulders back, and then as I exhale, I'm going to round forward. Okay, try that again. Inhale, come forward, think about pressing forward with the belly, drawing the shoulder blades back. Exhale, you can feel your tailbone rolling underneath you, chin drops to chest. Inhale and exhale. And then one of those two feels better for you probably, doesn't it? So go ahead, choose that place for you. And take 3 breaths there. Good, and then from here we can allow our body to relax. From here we're going to extend the right leg to straight, and we're going to see about hinging our body as far forward as we can, and then drawing it back up. So this is not a rounding forward like we were just playing with, we're hinging forward from the hips. We're going to hinge forward, you can slide the right hand down the right leg, and then slide back up. Okay, try that 2 more times. So another option, if this doesn't feel great for you, is to put your right foot on something. Maybe you've got an ottoman, you can put it on, and then you only need to hinge forward a very little bit to get that same sensation. Let's swing that leg out to the side and see what that feels like. So I've got my right leg out to the side, nice and straight, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to slide to the right, and then slide back up. If I want, I might add the left arm, and then back up. And one more time. We'll see. Does it feel good to hold this for a couple of breaths? Maybe left hand down on hip. You could even take both hands to the hips. You can reach toward the right foot, whatever serves your body best. Okay, we'll come on back up, and then we'll bring our right leg back around. We'll do the same 2 things on the other side. So sitting right on the edge of your chair, extending the left leg to straight, inhaling here. As you exhale, hinging forward, sliding the left hand down to wherever it reaches, and then inhaling, coming back up. So again, we're looking to have that nice strong abdominal brace here, so we're not just rounding our shoulders down. This movement is largely coming from the hips. Good, and one more time. All right, from here we're going to slide the left leg out. You might need to wiggle a little bit on your chair like I did. And we're going to slide the left hand down, and then back up. And maybe we're adding our arms if it feels good. One more time, we'll see about holding for a couple of breaths. So you can see right now I have my left foot flexed, my left toes are up, but yours don't have to be. It's just what felt better for me. Maybe you'd like to point your toes down. So in every movement, just choosing what works best for your body. And let's inhale, come all the way up. We'll bring our legs back in front of us from here. And we're going to scooch back on our chair now. So we're sitting right toward the back of our chair. Spine nice and long, and we're going to come into a chair twist. So we're going to twist ourselves over to the right. We're going to take the right hand behind us on the chair. The left hand might go to the outside of the right knee. It might stay on the left knee. That's okay too. And it might feel nice to look back over the right shoulder. And sometimes it feels nice just to let the head and neck relax in the middle. So find that place that works for you. And you could use the chair and use your leg to twist you a little bit deeper. Try to take some full deep breaths here and notice what it feels like. There's a little bit of compression through the diaphragm. Can you still find a full and satisfying breath in this shape? And we'll come back to center, and then we'll try the other side. So twisting to the left, taking the right hand to the outside of the left leg, taking the left hand behind us on the chair. Spine is nice and long, and we're only going as far as it feels good for our body. So if we decide that today this is as far as we want to twist, that's still a spinal twist, and you're still doing good work for your body. Slow, easy breaths. Inhale, come back to center. Let's show the shoulders up and back. And one more time, up and back. And we're going to wiggle out a little bit to the edge of our chair again. And we're going to take our feet fairly wide here. Your knees can be bent or the legs can be straight. It doesn't matter, just as long as you feel stable. It's going to depend on the height of your chair, probably. And we're going to move our upper body in big circles. So you can play around with a little bit of that cat-cow movement if you want. Really pressing the chest forward, and then when you come back rounding, or you can have this movement come just from your hips. Next time you get to center, let's pause and then head the other way. And we'll go ahead, come back to center. We're going to bring our feet back in. And then just make yourself comfortable seated on your chair, wherever you want to sit on your chair. We're going to play with our arms and their shoulders a little bit. So we've got some options here. We're going to bring our arms back up to cactus, which we saw earlier in our practice. And you can maybe give yourself a tight little hug with your right elbow underneath of your left. And you're all checking right now, was that my right elbow? It doesn't matter because we'll do both sides. So that might feel really nice. Some of you might have the mobility in your shoulders to reach opposite hands. So just checking for you, what feels better? Does it feel nice to give myself a little hug? Maybe clawing my fingertips back towards my opposite shoulder blade, or does it feel better to try and reach the hands? And when I can't reach the hands, sometimes I'll hook fingers or I'll hold a strap there, and all of those things are okay. Good, let's add a little bit of movement here. We'll inhale, lift the elbows up from whatever position you're in, and then exhale, curl down. You might not go quite as far here, that's okay. Inhale up. Exhale down. And one more time, inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale all the way up. As you exhale, let's relax the arms down. Notice how they're feeling. You might want to shrug them out a little bit, shake out your arms. Okay, and then we'll try the other side. So this time left elbow is going to end up underneath of right. Hands might come together. We might hold opposite shoulders, giving yourself a nice tight little hug, noticing how it feels. And thinking about some movement. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling down. And inhale up. And exhale down. And then one more time, inhale up. And exhale down. Good, go ahead and relax. Shake out the shoulders. And from here, we're gonna sit right back on our chairs. We're gonna make sure that we're nice and comfortable. And we're gonna finish our practice with just a few quiet moments of a guided mindful breathing. So you can close your eyes, or you can take the gaze down to the floor if that feels better for you. You can leave your hands on your lap, or you might take one hand to the heart, one to the belly, maybe both hands to the heart. And just pay attention to the movement of your breath through your body. Where exactly in your body can you feel yourself breathing right now? So let that place be where you rest your awareness. Wherever the breath is most noticeable. Now, of course, you're going to notice your mind wandering. Your mind is going to wander off to things you have to do later today. Or if you're in quarantine or self-isolation, your mind might wander off to all the things you would do if you could do them. So just notice. And then come back to the next inhale and the next exhale. This present moment awareness of breath just allows us to really experience each moment as it passes. If you notice any tension creeping into your body, between your eyebrows or your shoulders, see if you can soften and relax. Remembering that it's normal for the mind to wander. So if your mind is wandering right now, you're not doing anything wrong. The mind is just doing what the mind does. In fact, every time you notice that your mind has wandered, you're actually practicing mindfulness because you're noticing what's happening. So as you notice the wandering mind, instead of being hard on yourself or berating yourself when you notice, congratulate yourself for noticing. And then come back to the next inhale or the next exhale. If your hands are up, just allow them to rest. Maybe settle back into your chair. Just let go of any deliberate breath. And feel the effects of this practice on your body and on your mind. On your next inhale, start to bring some movement back to your body, maybe wiggling out your fingers, maybe stretching out the legs. It might feel good to inhale, reach the hands up again, maybe exhale, press the palms up, give yourself a nice long stretch here. And then we'll take our hands down to heart center, and we'll close our practice this afternoon with gratitude, being so incredibly grateful to yourself for giving yourself this quiet time and attention. Being grateful to your body for all of the things that it allows you to do each day. And then grateful to everyone else who's practicing from the safety of their own living rooms. May there be peace in our minds, peace in our bodies, and peace in our community. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a beautiful day.